Hello and welcome everyone, Arhart here, and today we're back on Total War Attila. A couple of weeks ago we held a poll to decide what my next historical Total War campaign would be between Total War Attila, the last Roman campaign as the Roman Expedition, or Thrones Britannia, Vikings of Dublin. Now, as you can probably guess, the last Roman campaign, Roman Expedition, won with 57% of the vote. But fear not, Thrones Britannia, Vikings of Dublin fans, once this last Roman campaign ends, there will not be another poll to decide what we play next. We'll just go straight into that Thrones Britannia, Vikings of Dublin campaign. Once we then finish that Vikings of Dublin campaign, I'm planning kind of a grand finale in Napoleon Total War, finally getting around to playing a Napoleon campaign as the mad lad himself. Playing through all three of Napoleon's campaigns, Italian, Egyptian, and the Grand Campaign. Hopefully we'll be able to start that around Thanksgiving this year, because that's when also the new Napoleon film is coming out, which I saw a trailer drop the other day for. It looks absolutely amazing. I'm looking forward to hopefully some pretty epic battle sequences in that. So yeah, I feel that would be a good way to kind of finish off, at least for the moment, my playthroughs for Napoleon Total War. I do kind of feel like I might one day return to it to maybe play through the Peninsula campaign or something like that. But yeah, I feel like I couldn't kind of close the door this chapter, at least on Napoleon Total War, kind of doing main campaigns on it without playing as Napoleon himself at some point. So that's kind of the plan for historical series throughout the rest of this year and potentially beyond. Essentially, this historical series now, when it finishes, it will only ever be replaced by another historical campaign. So you've got the outlay there for the next three historical series. This one, The Last Roman, that will be starting next Tuesday, the 18th of July. Then when that ends, Thrones Britannia, Vikings of Dublin. And then when that ends, Napoleon, which will be all three of his campaigns. So the first two, the Italian and Egyptian, will be kind of smaller mini campaigns. And then we'll have the third act, the Grand Campaign, as the main campaign. Once we play through those two smaller ones, kind of similar to how we did the Road to Independence for Empire Total War USA. But yes, let's just have a quick look at our start for the last Roman. I wanted to make this video today just to kind of give you guys an update on the poll. Also let you know that, again, this campaign will be starting next Tuesday, the 18th of July. I also just wanted to run through a couple of the various campaign options that we get playing as the Roman Expedition, because you can choose to stay loyal to Justinian the Emperor, or you can choose to go separatist and eventually see if you can reform the Western Roman Empire, which is what I would like to do, I think. We can kind of see those through the expedition victories here, or rather we can see this through the victory objectives. You've either got expedition victory or you've got separatist victory if you decide to go it alone. Separatist victory, then the kind of final victory, the ultimate victory, is to have the Western Roman Emperor's triumph, make a faction join your empire. When you make another faction that can essentially confederate with you, your title will change from the separatist faction, which I think is the Kingdom of Rome. That will then transform into the Western Roman Empire, which would be pretty cool if we could achieve that. My question to you guys, though, is if you've played this last Roman campaign, Roman Expedition, before, when do you think the right moment is to split off? And I'm assuming that you can do that. I'm assuming you don't need to. I'm assuming you can play through, you know, most of the expedition throughout the campaign and then choose to go separatist and split off. But obviously you're not going to want to, as you're going through that expedition, you're not going to want to necessarily give the Eastern Roman Empire, Justinian, too many powerful, strong locations, because then you'll just be having to fight for those back later on. But and this may well be a question that we cannot answer until we're actually in the campaign and, you know, a good few episodes in, working things out. But I just kind of wanted to gather some advice, tips and tactics from you guys before we start the campaign. So I've kind of got a battle plan ready, but I think very much the plan will be for the early part of the campaign is to follow the expedition victory objectives, follow through the expedition storyline. We won't be settling. We'll be playing as a Roman expedition horde. Once you settle, then you go separatist. So I'll just be choosing which settlement do we take as our first one properly to decide to break off from Justinian. I assume we'll want to make sure we do that when we've got plenty of supplies and resources, and possibly a few more armies as well. I don't know how viable that is. I have heard this is one of the tougher campaigns across the historical series. So yeah, I'm just open to any and all advice you guys have, especially if you've played through this yourself and have tips and tactics. Obviously, kind of like no spoilers, because I know this is quite a narrative event-driven campaign. But if there's any kind of general tips and tactics or just general strategy you think would be useful for helping me decide when we should break off, feel free to let me know down below. I also wanted to mention the topic of mods. I'm not going to be using any overhaul mods. Some of you suggested Radius or alternatives. Nothing against those mods or anything like that, but just overhaul mods aren't really my thing by and large. Darth mod is probably the exception I found that suits my playstyle for Empire and Napoleon Total War, but I found in, you know, Total War's past Empire and Napoleon Total War, I prefer a smaller, more minor collection of mods that just do subtle tweaks and changes. I think it's because modders have grown ever more ambitious and more talented and have been able to add in more mechanics and features, and I just get overwhelmed by all the various new additions, and sometimes I feel like they come at a detriment to the just general flow and pacing of the game, at least for me. Probably for a vast majority of people, though, they're perfectly fine and they're great, and they really do just constantly add more and more value to people's campaigns. But for me, I just find it a little bit overwhelming, and I don't necessarily like all the tweaks and changes. There's certainly some changes that I do like that overhauls add in, but they're just not all for me. So I prefer a smaller, minor collection of mods. So I'll show it off in part 1 when we start this campaign next week, but I'm just using actually the same list of mods that I used for my last Total War Attila campaign, the Western Roman Empire series. So it's like better camera mods, more detailed unit info stats, better water graphics and things like that. Outside of that, nothing else. No real massive gameplay changing mods, or actually even any minor gameplay changing mods. So we're you know, we're playing this vanilla plus, essentially. That's what we're doing. But yeah, we'll jump on into the campaign and just have a look at our initial start. We're going to be playing this on very hard difficulty. Initial challenge is set to normal. There's the blow about the Roman expedition itself. But our faction traits, we'll have a quick look through these. Reclamation, the expedition can reclaim regions for the Roman Empire. Roman will, no movement cost for fortify and encampment stances. And reformation of the Western Empire, control 40 regions to gain diplomatic option, join Empire. So I assume we need to take 40 regions first before we get that option to join up with other factions to form the Western Empire. And obviously, if we choose to go separatist at some point, we will lose that reclamation option, and obviously we'll stop being a horde. We will then rely on our settlements. So I guess it's kind of a juggling act of how much do we want to increase our horde buildings that we are eventually going to lose, but we're going to need to invest in them early on while we are a horde. But it's all about finding the right time to do it. So we're going to jump on in, start the campaign, and just take a look at our initial start. We'll skip that intro. We'll save that
the
for
Emperor Justinian has
the campaign.
grand plans for the Empire. From his seat at Constantinople, he plans to reclaim those Western territories lost to barbarism for the glory of Rome. However, presently it's no more than a vision. What Justinian really needs is a general to command his army. The type of man who hasn't been seen since the time of Caesar and Augustus. In Belisarius, Justinian has found this man. The key to this grand plan is control of the Mediterranean Sea to secure supply and trade routes, which will ensure the army is kept and the dream of a restored united empire maintained. However, the Vandal fleet is too powerful to attack head-on. Control of northern Africa must be decided on the battlefield before any hope of taking Rome can be entertained. Once Africa has been recovered, we must turn our attention to the Ostrogothic usurpers who rule Italy. Great glory awaits he who delivers Rome into Roman hands once again.
There we go. Then we get our first mission, which is a man to reclaim. Survive until spring 535. And we've got various bonus objectives. I'll quick look through those. Maintain a military presence in each of the following provinces. Okay. I am the law. Receive 500 tribute from the Berbers. Separatist only. Meal or no meal. Hold 4 settlements including Carthage. So we could go separatist right from the off. But I mean, I don't know how. I think that's incredibly difficult to do. I kind of want to experience some of the expedition's missions, but I do get that the more we start reclaiming for the Eastern Roman Empire, the stronger we make them. So it's going to be difficult, I think, choosing the right moment. There probably isn't a right moment to split, but there's definitely going to be more favorable conditions when we should split. So we won't worry about separatist bits and pieces just yet. Expedition only networking. Reclaim Carthage. The just shall live by faith alone. Ensure the faction does not settle. Okay. Empire will send reinforcements. That's interesting. I don't know what that means. Is that more replenishment or what? But let's have a quick little look at the map here. We can see, so the Eastern Roman Empire is present on the map on the eastern edge, and you can see they have loads and loads of armies, which I don't think, do they go after the Ostrogoths, or do they stay fairly static and just kind of hold around here? What I'm thinking is essentially, potentially, we go west, because I was looking at a few forum posts about this campaign, and people were essentially saying you want to get as far away from the Eastern Roman Empire as possible before you choose to settle. I'm wondering if we press all the way through the west and then either settle in northern or northwestern Iberia, or go all the way up to, say, Brittany and northern France, then go separatist, and then conquer all around France and into Iberia to build us up a nice solid bit of territory, and hopefully with the resources we'll need to then strike against the Eastern Roman Empire. And that way we avoid potentially war with the Ostrogoths for a bit longer, and they act as a bulwark holding off the Eastern Roman Empire. And then we gloriously sail on in, do a joint split invasion, striking through Sicily in the south and through Liguria in the north, and then meet in Rome, and then transfer our capital to there, and then wipe out the Eastern Roman Empire. I don't know if that's viable or what, but that's kind of the general plan of attack that I'm thinking right now. I don't know whether our expedition missions will mess that up. Obviously, going through here, we've got to decide when do we stop reclaiming territory for the Empire, though. Do we just perhaps gather all of North Africa for the Eastern Roman Empire, and then just, I don't know, raid and pillage and sack our way through here to gain up a massive amount of treasury? Head all the way to northern France and then go separatist. But obviously we don't want to be claiming regions for the Eastern Roman Empire as we go up here, unless we absolutely have to replenish or something like that, because that'll mean that they'll have territories near where we're planning on setting up. So yeah, love to hear your thoughts, tactics and advice on that. Let's have a quick look at army here. So there is Belisarius. Also, I hope you guys enjoyed the custom intro. That'll be the intro for this series when we start releasing episodes part 1 Tuesday the 18th. That was made by the absolutely wonderful H for Havoc, as well as the thumbnail for this series. Hope you all enjoy it. But yeah, we've got the horde buildings here. We've got to make sure we get food. Keep well fed. Cannot build expeditions, must be encamped in order to do it. Yeah, that's fine. We'll obviously lose all of this. So I wonder actually if we're like the turn before we choose to settle, maybe we should go through and like destroy everything within our hordes. That'd probably be a good idea. What have we got? Cataphracti. Can we get some mercenaries? We can recruit a load of troops as well. And then we've got the brave companions led by John the Armenian as well.
This panel shows you the...
Yes. I know you're going to give me all the advice because I've not played Attila on this new PC before. I have actually got shadows at maximum quality, and the FPS is still dropping, but it's holding just above 60. This is the future tech they finally spoke of. Yes, I know what the tab is. I'm looking at all these provisions. What do we want? Oh, that unlocks some new troops. Yeah, I do kind of like the idea that, yeah, I always like that technology improves the troops and things like that. Yeah, I guess we're going to want to slowly but surely work our way through all of these as we can, as quickly as we can. But yeah, we start off at war with the Vandals, so we'll be going after them, the Ostrogoths. So yeah, same people, so we can potentially confederate with them. I don't know how viable it's going to be though, because they've got 33 regions. The Roman Empire. So does their name change then when you form the Western Roman Empire? Do they change to the Eastern Roman Empire, or as part of that, do you need to take them out as such? They are at war with the Vandals, so we'll see if they go to war with the Ostrogoths, or I guess if we go to war with them and they pull us in, because we're military allies. Vandals have got 11 settlements, so we'll need to slowly but surely work through there. They are same people, but I doubt we can...
This option
yeah, we don't have the option to actually confederate with them.
I have little gain in wasting the...
Yep. Strength rank 12. Okay, Imperium trustworthy. We're Christian as well, so we need to balance that too. What agents can we get?
Agents are
Talents. We can get spies, we can get priests, and we can get champions. Okay. Cool. Right, well, I think that's all we need to, like, just go through right now. Yeah, the initial objective is to just survive into that point, and we'll be looking to follow the expedition and take Carthage for the Empire. So yeah, if we are just going to support the expedition for now, it'll just be North Africa, and then I think we'll try and avoid grabbing anything through Iberia. Once we get there, as long as we're not going to be jumped on and annihilated, either I guess we go through land or we try and sail on up and around. We could sail on up to Brittany and then set up here. That would avoid actually having to trek through all that, so maybe we do that. But it's about having enough supplies, funding, and everything else. Obviously, our income is pretty poor right now, and that's with 2 armies. Rivalry. Oh, yeah, we've got this integrity we need to remember about. Yeah. 12 turns there'll be... Meaning, how do you increase that? I'm assuming victory or defeat as well as state of food, right? Attrition, everything else. Right. So we can see we're good on food right now. Rivalry is hitting it a little bit. Wealth breakdown. That's quite cool. It's a good breakdown of it all. Nice. I like it. And we've got growth as well. So, yeah. Well, we'll be kicking off this campaign in earnest on Tuesday, the 18th of July. First episode will be out. It'll be released every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from the 18th onwards. And, yeah, I just hope you're all very much looking forward to it. I'm excited to get back to Total War Attila. Share your tips, tactics, strategies, and your thoughts on the campaign. Again, following that expedition until we probably completed all of, reclaimed all of North Africa for the Roman Empire, for the Eastern Roman Empire, for Justinian, and then looking to either sail or march up to France, Francia, and then set up ourselves and go separatist and see if we can survive from there. Any minor mod suggestions, feel free to let me know in the comment section. But until the 18th, I hope you've enjoyed. Take care, and ciao for now.